Can I flip this dresser in just 5 hours? Oh, watch me. I have a dresser that is like great vanilla bones, but it's so boring, and I thought this is a great dresser for a nursery or a guest room. So I wanted to do something that was simple, just to change and freshen it up. So first things first, getting to all of the cleaning, got to make sure everything's clean. I'm going right in with scuff sanding with 150 grit. I could use 120, I just had 150 handy. This is Serious Grit sandpaper, love it. I'll link it. Just getting in there to take care of all of the scuffs and tiny little dents. Doing every drawer. I know I'm painting this, so it's okay if I break through the finish, and I don't have to get everything down to bare wood, just the areas that I want to make sure there's no dents or dings left. Going with a sanding sponge, and I'm doing the edges of the drawers with this just because they are rounded, and I didn't want to use my orbital because it leaves, flat areas on there. So going in with the sanding sponge, I'll do every drawer, and as I'm doing them, I'm taking them out because I also have to sand the little parts of the dresser cabinet that's there. And another sanding sponge, this one's all about the sponges because it saves a lot of time, to do the edge of the dresser, which is also rounded. If you have never used these sanding sponges, they are amazing. And sure, I could get out my Surf Prep sander and use that here, but this really just makes quick work of everything, and I already had my orbital sander out. So these sponges are amazing. Again, I will link them. And back to just traditional sandpaper to do the rest of the dresser. Time to clean it all up. It's got to get ugly before it gets pretty. Into the spray tint we go. And prime time. This is where the transformation really happens. I'm using Insulax Sticks primer. My primers are all tinted gray. Even when I'm painting white, just tinting gray. I like the coverage better. And while the primer dries, I'm going to address the hardware. I have some hardware that I want to use. This is not what came off the dresser. They came off another piece, but they're ugly. I didn't like them at all, but I thought the style would be fine with this dresser. So I scuff sanded, primed, painted, and once I got the color that I wanted, I'm just sealing it here with a matte clear coat. So it can completely change the hardware. It'll be long lasting and durable. And this is my paint that I'm using today, Evolution by Farmhouse in the color Micro Green. Evolution is my favorite paint. It is an all-in-one. And even though it's an all-in-one, I'm still going to prime and clear coat because it's just what I prefer. Don't have to, but I prefer it. I add a little water to dilute it from my sprayer. Add the top back on, and I'm all ready to go for paint. So after my primer dries, I always go in. This is one of the most important steps to a nice smooth finish, is I take that sanding sponge I was using earlier and just go over everything. This makes the primer just buttery smooth. And time for paint. Just getting all the edges of the drawers and everything before I start doing the actual drawer faces. And we'll get this all painted. This color dries down a little bit more gray. This is just a light green with some gray undertones to it. Really pretty color. I paint with the drawers in, which leaves these marks where the drawers overhang on the cabinet. Super easy. I just go back in with a little poly brush and take care of that in between coats. And now after 2 coats of paint and then the details, I'm going in with some top coat. And this is a tinted top coat. I add it to a little bit of paint in my sprayer. And we'll do several coats of this top coat. And one more look at where we started. And now this is where we are. Couldn't you see this in a nursery or a guest bedroom? I just think it's so fresh and bright and simple. Really just a great look. So can this dresser be flipped in 5 hours? It certainly can. I hope you like it. Make sure to follow for more.